Brock Lesnar is planning to retire next year at SummerSlam. He basically was asked, why did Brock Lesnar, come out of nowhere and whoop his ass during this retirement tour, right? Like, that's the match where JohnCena came out at this year's, was it at SummerSlam? I think it was WrestlePalooza, right? So John Cena comes out with a bunch of kids, right? And, we're thinking that John Cena and Brock Lesnar is going to be at least a competitive match. It was a squash match, okay? Brock Lesnar beat John Cena in less than 10 minutes. He completely dominated the match. He F5'd John Cena like 5 times in a row, you know what I'm saying? And everybody was pissed off about this because it just didn't make any sense. Brock Lesnar had been away from the company for about close to 3 years because of the allegations tied to Vince McMahon. And for him to come back out of nowhere and just attack John Cena and become his opponent at WrestlePalooza, it just didn't really make any sense. You know what I'm saying? So he exposed the fact that they want Brock Lesnar to look dominant because Brock Lesnar is on his way to retire next year at SummerSlam. And we all know that if anybody's going to be the person to retire Brock Lesnar, Triple H is going to pick Gunther to retire Brock Lesnar because Triple H, he wants Gunther to be the biggest heel in the company, right? He looks at Gunther as the future of the WWE. The problem with that is the fans don't look at Gunther like that. But Triple H is doing everything in his power to convince the fans that this guy Gunther is the king of the ring. He's the biggest villain in the company, right? He's the best in-ring wrestler in the company. And his way of trying to convince the fans that that's what the case is by having him retire legendary wrestlers. He retired Gunther and John Cena in the same year, and he made John Cena, whose moniker is Never Give Up, he made him give up and tap out, right? Now, I know who should retire Brock Lesnar, okay? If anybody should retire Brock Lesnar, it should be Femi, okay? Femi made his debut on the main roster at Saturday Night Main Event where he faced off with CodyRhodes, and he looked very dominant in that match with CodyRhodes. Not just that, from the moment this guy came out to his theme music and he was doing this little 1-2 step dance, the fans went crazy, man. They were doing the Femi chants. I've been seeing a lot of people post his ring entrance walk on TikTok. People want to see Femi on the main roster immediately. And not just that, people want to see Femi dominate the main roster because this dude has all of the tools to, be a superstar in the WWE. He's a big dude. He's tall, right? Pretty massive, pretty muscular, you know what I'm saying? And he's good in the ring, and he's good on the mic, you know what I'm saying? And he has a good theme song, you feel me? So, Femi needs to be the person that retires Brock Lesnar. And as a matter of fact, I think that that's how Femi should be introduced to the main roster. Femi is currently still the NXT champion. I think he should hold on to that title until about June, July. And from there, basically have him come to the main roster and call out Brock Lesnar and basically let it be known that he wants to retire Brock Lesnar to prove to everybody that, this is his company now. He's the beast of the company now. He's going to dominate the company now. You know what I'm saying? And Femi, right, it's believable because Femi is tall because of his size, right? It's believable that a young Femi who just entered his prime, Femi's only 27 years old, right? It's believable that he would beat a 40-something-year-old Brock Lesnar, retire him, and then he would take that spot as being the new beast of the company. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's fair that Gunther gets to keep getting rewarded with retiring people for what? Right? We already know he's going to be the guy to retire AJ Styles. So you're telling me you're going to have a 38-year-old Gunther retire AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar in the same year? Nah. Let him retire AJ Styles because they already put the storyline out there, right? We already seen Gunther basically confront AJ and tell him that he wants to retire him. So give the opportunity to an up-and-coming star who needs a Brock Lesnar on his resume. What better way to introduce Femi, who should be booked as a dominant superstar? What better way to introduce him to the fans than to have him annihilate Brock Lesnar. Can you guys imagine how insane the crowd would go if Obafemi goes in there and just completely whoops Brock Lesnar's ass? At that point, you immediately got to put a championship around this man's waist. Immediately. I don't care who the champion is. I don't care if CodyRhodes is the champion. I don't care if CM Punk is a champion. If Obafemi whoops Brock Lesnar's ass, he immediately deserves a title shot, and he needs to be a major world champion. Not no mid-tier champion. I don't want to see Obafemi be a United States champion. I don't want to see Obafemi be an Intercontinental champion. No. This dude needs to be either the WWE Undisputed Champion or he needs to be the World Heavyweight Champion. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? And what they could do is this, right? Have Obafemi face Brock Lesnar before SummerSlam and have him lose to Brock Lesnar. Have it a competitive match, right? But ultimately, have Brock Lesnar prove that Obafemi is not ready yet. And then have Obafemi, basically say he wants another shot. And if this time he wins, Brock Lesnar retires. If Obafemi loses, Obafemi has to go back down to NXT. That's fair, right? If I win, you got to retire. I get to stay on Raw or SmackDown. If Brock Lesnar loses, you got to retire and you never can come back and wrestle for this company ever again. That's the perfect storyline, bro. Perfect storyline. So hopefully Triple H does this. I've already seen so many people say that they want Obafemi to be the one that retires Brock Lesnar. The only other person I could think of that would make sense to retire a Brock Lesnar is a Braun Breaker, right? I could see Braun Breaker doing it. But the way that things are looking, guys, it's looking like Braun Breaker is most likely going to take that World Heavyweight Championship from CM Punk. And if that's the case, then it doesn't make any sense, right? If Braun Breaker ends up being the World Heavyweight Champion before Brock Lesnar has that retirement match, then it just doesn't make any sense. But if Braun Breaker doesn't have a title, then I wouldn't be mad at Braun Breaker being the guy to retire Braun Breaker. But I just feel like with a talent like Obafemi, the reality of the situation is this. You have to book him properly. If you don't book Obafemi properly, then you're going to waste his potential. And we've seen that happen, right? Like, look at Omos, right? Look at the giant Omos, who's like 7'4", right? They wasted his talent. He's still signed to the WWE, but he hasn't been in the ring for like almost 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Lashley. Triple H took over, and he didn't know what to do with Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley came to Triple H and said that he wanted to start the Street Profits with MVP and Shelton Benjamin. Triple H was uninterested, so Bobby Lashley went to AEW. So we can't give Triple H the benefit of the doubt that we just think that Triple H is going to book Obafemi like a star. And the funny thing is, guys, is after Saturday Night Main Event, Triple H actually compared Obafemi to Brock Lesnar, which is a good thing, right? The fact that he compared Obafemi to Brock Lesnar is a really, really, really good thing. And the fact that Obafemi did not lose to CodyRhodes signals that Triple H knows that you have to book Obafemi properly. So hopefully he does the right thing. We have to wait and see what happens next year. It's your boy Wavy, Stay Wavy TV. Merry Christmas. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. I'm out.
Yo, you tuned in to Days Chris Dior, the plug for everything rap and hip-hop. Breaking beats, culture moves, fresh drops, you know the vibe. Hit that subscribe, stay tapped in, and let's talk.